So in this call, we're going to be talking to a contractor in California doing about $2 million a year and trying to grow in the Sacramento market. There's the handsome Warren. But I know you guys are roughly a $2 million company. I know you do a variety of services from painting to remodels. And I'm just curious, what is your like goal for the next 1 to 2 years?
Really, to be honest with you, is to have the phone ringing. Because it's not. With that, we need a company who's going to guide us and direct us and say, hey, this is what we think you need to be doing. Strategize with us. I don't have time to really, or does Andrew, delve into, certain aspects of marketing, including, web marketing and our web presence. It's not our thing. It's not what we do. We just need clients to come through the door, right? Your last, recommendation or suggestion, as we were talking about, dialing in the demographic of people we want calling us is critically important.
What would you define that demographic to be?
My thinking, really anywhere from 150 to 250,000 a year salary. Kind of need some guidance on that as well, and where to focus the marketing. I'd like to do work closer to home because it's cheaper to do work closer to home, but I think that limits us as well.
Okay, a 50-mile radius, again, is that too wide, or?
It probably is, but if it's not at least 30, we exclude ourselves from some pretty, high dollar areas.
Yeah, and we talked, Thorin, about being hyper-focused and being good at one thing or a handful of things rather than trying to spread ourselves thin. And that was something that we would like to do, I think, is try and focus on the services that our guys can do well and then push that. That's why I was thinking, like, demographic-wise, it could be important, of course, but that was kind of your focus. You were trying to find the houses that, like, you were using metadata to find the ads within a certain home value, and so it seemed like you were trying to get at least some demographics down. Area is something we need help with.
We need projects that are going to start immediately. We don't need to be bidding. I mean, we do, but some of these additions and remodels take 4 to 6 months to bid and get finalized, and it pushes work out in the future. It doesn't get us anything now.
It's tough because for larger size projects, I feel like sales cycle is always naturally a little bit longer. Andrew was telling me pushing painting services, because I know painting services are something that they're typically pretty quick. They're not large ticket, but depending on the way you subcontract it out or the way you do it, it might be high margin. So is that something that you'd want to double down on, or are you trying to just stick to larger projects in general?
No, we do need the little stuff to come through the door, and here's my hope is that so we've always maintained or we've always gotten additional clientele because we do the little things. Mm-hmm. And so which turns into a lot of bigger jobs.
Because, like, to get the pipeline filled with leads that we can close, it's like we're slowing down a little bit, mainly because we just haven't relying on referrals and repeat customers, which is great that we've had that coming in, but it's like we're just like right here, so that's why we really need to get something going. But we would need leads that we can. I went on something today that I'm going to try and get a number to them by tomorrow, so that hopefully they can sign and we can start next week, kind of thing. Not going to happen with, especially because everything needs plans anymore these days. Like I think about decks would be nice. Decks for framers, keep them busy, or siding. Even that seems to be like a drawn out process of bidding. If someone wants to build a deck, it's like, oh, you need engineering, and it's kind of frustrating. But yeah, Warren made a good point. Like painting surfaces could get us dry rot repairs, siding, just multifaceted. So that's a good like small one, because the big ones that are going to keep the guys busy, those we can work on while we have the pipeline full. You know what I mean? Like we're not stressing out trying to get work for the guys. We have jobs scheduled out for like 4 weeks, five weeks. It's like, okay, cool. Then we can focus on these bigger jobs, and then those can kind of fall in place. So, and then it would flip, and then I would say it would probably be nice to flip it after we've kind of picked up a good pipeline, and then it could maybe go like 70-30 the other direction. Yeah, like after maybe 3 to 6 months or something.
Okay. So we need to basically stack up cash flow, and then we can switch and be a little bit more aggressive in the bigger jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so the two services that I'm hearing are painting and then exterior repairs. Is that right? I like exterior repairs because I live in Austin and we have a contractor here that does stucco repair. And one of the things we've noticed is the leads are not that expensive, but they're also people who, because it's different than like wanting your kitchen redone versus like, you know, exterior damage, people are quicker to get it done. I don't know if that's, you know, translates over into your market, but that's what I would assume.
Is, you know, advertising, hey, you know, do you want to take care of your investment? Have you walked to your house? Let us take the hassle out of looking for stuff that needs to be done, and let us come out and do a free estimate, or you know, we can inspect the exterior home, make sure everything's holding up as it should, or I don't know, something to that effect, you know, to get them to bite.
That type of offer works really well when you are a sales heavy organization where you're confident in your ability to upsell a service. Because if not, what will happen is you'll have a ton of people reaching out. You're going and doing these site visits, which could be 20, 30 miles away, depending on the home. Obviously, we can qualify the home. We can ask questions like, when was the last time you got your house checked out? Is there any like clear damage? So we can kind of like make sure it's worth it beforehand. But at the same time, there's a chance that will also lead to long sales processes.
Well,
in the beginning, in the cases like this, we would first need to pick like 2 or 3 things to test. So it might be like exterior repairs, painting, and then maybe like we take that 20% of the budget and we do like kitchen and bath, or maybe just bathroom remodels, because they're might be a little bit easier than kitchens. But in the beginning, the goal is to get as much data as possible, and not to be technical, but we just want to see like what the demand is. Like if painting, we're getting really cheap leads and we're closing a lot of them, then it makes sense to put more of the budget into that. I can't really give you a definite answer on what the service is going to be, but it just makes sense. Where are we getting the cheapest lead, but at the same time actually closing them? And whatever number or whatever ratio is the best, depending on what service, that's where we should, in theory, spend most of the marketing dollars, at least till we stack the cash flow, and then we can look a little bit more long term.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we'd have to just, it sounds like we kind of have that down, right, Warren? We're thinking like painting, exterior repairs, kitchens and bath. I feel like that's like an elective kind of thing that people are.
Well, it is, but if you're in the right demographic and you go into the right people.
Yeah. Kitchens and baths, they do the demo, right? You know, prep stuff, maybe some framing a little bit, and then that's it. And it's just a bunch of sub work.
I'm a big fan of projects that come out of a necessity. And so that would be things like, for example, I don't know if you would like these types of projects, but like anything that's aging in place related, turning a bathtub into a walk-in shower that's, you know, ADA compliant or something like that. Those are jobs where typically it's somebody that's retired that has money or saved up money, and like that's something that they need. It's cheaper to do this than to live somewhere else or move.
Then we can just keep lining up these jobs. And it almost seems, because they were accumulating your Rolodex, your contact list more.
Well, we gotta start using it too.
Like Torin, you do like set up campaigns for like email, warm campaigns for like your actual contacts, and cold campaigns like setting it in motion, getting the blueprint going and all that.
I just call that, I think that's just part of like lead nurturing, which is just a marketing word for you got the lead. They might not be ready right now, but if you already paid for it, so it makes sense. They've, raised their hand and said, I'm interested to some level. And so we just want to send them, I would say start off with just sending a cold. It's tough because you need more content, but ideally, anytime a project is, before and after of a project, or anytime you get a testimonial, you can just send those, and they're very casual, but at the bottom it's like, schedule, if you have, a project that you want to get a quote for, there's like a link basically where they can take an action. And that's just how you stay in touch with them. You can do much more advanced stuff in terms of you can segment it. I don't think that that's a priority at this point. I think the priority at this point is just getting jobs in the short term that can stack cash. And then we can worry about the automations and stuff. Like, I don't want to, go, be a mile wide and an inch deep.
Yeah.